Big welcome everybody to our top tip tutorials. Again, if you haven't seen our top tip tutorials before, we have hundreds of them uploaded to our YouTube channel. Pop over to YouTube and just search Kay's Flower School. So today we're going to talk about freesias, okay? Absolutely beautiful flower. I do recommend getting yourself a notebook and pen so that you can take down some notes as we go along. Remember, you can always pause and rewind this video again. So first of all, with freesia, okay, I suppose the meaning behind the freesia would be innocence and trust. I suppose that's why they're very popular for baby arrangements, you know, that way, and again also for wedding bouquets. I suppose the bride trusts the groom trusts the bride trusts the bride, the groom trusts the groom. Lots of trust out there. This variety is called River White. It's a white freesia. Now I wasn't able to get it this week, but there is such thing as double freesias. And if you're ever given the option, purchase them a little bit extra. You pay a little bit extra for them, but by God, they are just amazing. They weren't available this week. So, freesias are available all the year round. And with the majority of flowers, we always recommend removing the plastic. That allows the ethylene gas to escape. They normally last around 5 to 7 days, but what you need to do is get the most out of them. And to get the most out of them, I have a couple of little tricks. So normally when you're buying them wholesale, 50 stems is the minimum that you can buy. And normally within that 50 stems, they're kind of divided up into 10 stems. So just give these a little shake there to separate them. So that would be there 10 stems of freesia, and that there would also be another 10 stems of freesia. So I want these in for a wedding. So to get the most out of them, I'm going to show you what I do. So first of all, on the 10 stems, I remove the little binding that's holding them. Do that to all flowers anyway, because that can sometimes stop the water going up the stem. So take up each stem, and you will kind of find they're kind of knotted and twisted into each other. So give them a little bit of a shake, right? So see any foliage like that that's on the stem, peel that off. Do you see them little shoots there, right? Just peel them off, right? So that each stem is going to be nice and clean. So again, we take up that one, remove them little leaves, remove that little shoot. Now, do you see that flower there? That is never going to open. But what it's going to do, it's going to draw on the energy that's going up the stem. Imagine that was the mammy and that's its little baby. And like all mammies, we want to kind of look after the baby. But in this case, like that baby is going out in the bin, okay? We're not looking after it. So again, we'll take up this stem here. And again, you can see, so this is exactly, these have literally come in from Holland. This one had twins, okay? So we've now just removed her little babies and they're gone in the bin. Because I want all the energy to go up into the main flower. And these little leaves can cause bacteria growing in the water. And these little babies are going to draw on the energy, which we don't want to happen. I want all the energy to go up to that flower. And the difference in a couple of days, you know, that way. And also I find I will get longer than the 7 days, depending on how cool the room is, you know, that way I could get longer. So here we have another little baby there, you see, trying to draw it on it. And you can see the way I'm removing all them little stems. Now that does take a little bit of time. We have another little baby growing there, and that one is gone. So normally there is, as I said, they can last 5 to 7 days, but if you do this, you can definitely prolong the life of them. Then what I do is I cut the ends, okay? So normally it's a minimum of 1 inch, 1 to 2 centimetres off the end of the flowers, and you cut on a 45 degrees, cut on an angle, and that way your flower will drink a lot more. Now I know for bridal work, okay, I'm not going to need them to see the length that they are there. Like this length here will be fine. So again, if you can get away with cutting them that bit shorter, that also will help them to open up that little bit faster for you. But when they open faster, they will still last longer, you know, that way. Where a lot of people kind of think, like, let's hold back the flower from opening and it'll get longer out of it. It doesn't work that way. You would be better off encouraging them to open and getting the pleasure of watching them open for the 5 to 7 days, rather than having them in bud for 4 days, open for 3 days, and they're still gone, do you know, the way, in 7 days. Freesia would probably be known as one of the highly fragrant flowers. So again, I suppose that's why it's so popular for bridal work, where brides want a bouquet that's highly scented. And again, to include it with a flower like hyacinths is just amazing. Or again, any sort of, like, I suppose, spring flowers, or again, any summer wedding flowers. These would be known as like long stem freesia, but you won't get them much longer than that. But again, for bridal work, like short stem is absolutely fine. They can be sensitive to ethylene gas, so again that's why we remove the plastic. They can be sensitive to bacteria, so again that's why we would have our bucket scrupulously clean. And again, I would recommend change the water every 2 to 3 days. You know, that way don't leave it too long, because again, if you let the water get smelly or dirty or any bacteria in it, again that's going to affect the longevity of the flower. Hopefully you picked up a couple of top tips there, especially the bit about getting the best out of your freesias. Now obviously if you're not going to use all your freesias for weddings, again you could still clean down the stems, but you could leave these a lot longer. Do you know, that way just take the inch off the end of them. But depending on what you have them in for. So I have some in for a wedding bouquet, which I'm going to clean down like this. And then I have some in that I'll probably use in maybe presentation hand-tied bouquets. So I still will clean them down, remove the little side slips like I showed you, remove them little babies, but I leave the stems that little bit longer. If you have any questions at all, post the questions in the comments below. I'll respond to everybody. I'd really appreciate if you shared this video, especially if you happen to be a member of a flower club or a floral society. And again, for any of the newbies, big welcome. My name is Janette and I'm from Case Flower School.